breaking into the Mr. Matty studio to talk to you about Sly Cooper. Yes, yes, finally, Sly Cooper rumors in 2022. It's like my childhood is back again. This is insane. Yes, I'm going to sit here in my Sly t-shirt, my Sly outfit to talk to you about PlayStation's greatest mascot. For those who don't know, Sly Cooper is my favorite PlayStation IP. I have been begging for a return, but almost sarcastically so. Like, I have pictures of me willing it into existence because I'm just thinking to myself, like, there's no way they're going to bring back this PS2 platformer game. There is hope. And if you're like me, I've been tracking this in a thread on Twitter. There have been little hints here and there we're going to go over in this video, and then there's been new rumors that have popped up. We're diving deep into those. We're investigating them in today's video. I know a lot of you complain. I talk a lot about Xbox. Guess what? Sly Cooper channel is right here. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all. Let's talk about everyone's favorite gaming raccoon, Sly Cooper, where it all begins here with a domain that was discovered, slycooper.com. It was updated on March 4th, 2022 by Sucker Punch. And this is really surprising because this website hasn't seen activity in years. So this was picked up on Reddit. It was covered by a lot of major gaming outlets. It came hot on the heels of some other rumors we're going to talk about. But there's just, you know, those early, for those of you who've been watching me for a while, those early Fallout 4 days, there's just too much movement surrounding this IP for nothing at all to be happening. And even PlayStation's own moves, right? Remaking Demon's Souls, remaking Ratchet & Clank in 2016 and turning it into one of their most successful franchises. You know, there's so many Jak and Daxter Easter eggs in their current games. They give so many bits of love to their old PS2 mascots. And then Sly, outside of an outfit you can get in Ghost of Tsushima, has just been in his grave. So to see any movement here, and significant ones at that, I don't know, I can't help but you can't really see it. Raise an eyebrow or two. So let's continue on, because there is more here. Like, for example, for those who haven't been tracking things, with Sly Cooper, they randomly did Funko Pops last year. Right after the release of Ratchet & Clank, they're like, hey, surprise, we're doing a deal with GameStop for an exclusive, and we're making Sly Cooper Funko Pops. Why all these years later, not around the time of, say, the release of Thieves in Time, which I think was 2013, 2012? Why they're doing it then, in 2021? Again, can only say to me, they're working on something. For those who don't remember, there was a Sly Cooper TV show that was announced many years ago, and it was effectively quietly canceled, although there's no official word on it. It's just they bumped back the release date. Nothing had happened there, and there's been rumors that maybe they're working on like a cartoon project or something like that, because Sony's been going all in on the movie and TV, where they had something going with Sly Cooper nice and early, but they may pick that back up. So I'm wondering if that was where they were heading for a while. But then you start to see video game Easter eggs. Like before the release of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, they said, Ratchet, that sly-looking raccoon just got pulled into an open rift. Or this Sly Cooper Easter egg, which is clearly referencing, again, the Sly Cooper universe.
And there were these creatures. One of them even looked like a Lombax, but he had smaller ears, a mask, and a cane, and I think he was pulling some kind of heist? Whatever it was, it looked cool.
And even you could see Sly appear if you use one of the weapons that would cross dimensions in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Sly Cooper would appear with his van. So there's a ton of Easter eggs. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. I can't even see you guys. There's a ton of Easter eggs that are ongoing that I'm just looking at going, why so many right now? Why? You guys just all thinking about Sly at the same time? Maybe Sly lives on in our spirits. Like for me, I was quiet on Sly, and just in the last year or so, I've really ramped it up, beat the drum, like, give me Sly back. And it looks like maybe something could be happening. So now let's get into some of the meaty rumors here, because there is something worth discussing if you want to believe the sources. So we're going to take a look at an article here from Games Radar titled Reported Sly Cooper PS5 Game Isn't Being Worked On by Sucker Punch. The next Sly Cooper game will reportedly not be developed by Sucker Punch. That's according to a tweet by leaker account NGT, the same figure who recently claimed that a new Sly Cooper title would get announced in the second half of 2022. They didn't specify whether this was the case for the next installment in the Infamous series, which they also say is currently in development. Now, What I will say about taking this with a grain of salt is that the tweet is now gone. But what's interesting, though, is this account actually has a decent amount of credibility at this point in time. They sort of came out of complete nowhere, but they had leaked, say, for example, the Hogwarts Legacy state of play, and have shown that they do have accurate information pretty consistently, again, as of late. And with this tweet being deleted, I thought to myself, well, why when you've been right about recent things? But then Nick Baker stepped in saying, okay, so my source has given me the green light, but we're still not 100% certain. But it's believed that Pixel Opus, as many of you have guessed, possibly in collaboration with Sony Animation, are the ones working on Sly. I also believe Sony Animation is on the cartoon project. So for those who don't know who Pixel Opus is, this is a wonderful pick if it ends up being true, because Sucker Punch is off on Ghost of Tsushima, and I respect that, right? They spent so much time with Infamous, they got a new hit here in Ghost of Tsushima. Run with that ball. Go do your thing. They gave Sly a lot of love, right? And now Pixel Opus kind of has that spirit of old PS2 era Sucker Punch, as they were the developers of Concrete Genie. This was a game released the same day as the announcement of the PlayStation 5 console, so it really unfairly got buried. And I was frustrated for that team, because that was their moment to put a new kind of 3D PS2-like platformer on the map, and they never had that chance. So from what I've experienced of the game, and from what I can see with the studio culture, the types of games they make, this would be a beautiful fit for a Sly Cooper game. Just they fit the vibe so well. And especially because they're a smaller team, you can kind of get the passion project feeling coming from them. Like, they're going to take their time and tinker and work on it, because I don't think a lot of people, even though these rumors are picking up, are really anticipating a brand new Sly game. My biggest question now, with all these rumors out there, if we were to take them at face value and say, okay, a new Sly game is coming, is it Sly Cooper 5 continuing on the cliffhanger of Thieves in Time, or is it a reboot? I gotta be honest with y'all. I want to know so badly what happens at the end of Sly 4. I really do. But Sanzaru, the former developers of that game, were originally supposed to continue that story in DLC that never came out for Sly Cooper. And now Sanzaru is owned by Oculus, who's actually a really good VR developer, strangely enough. So they've had just an interesting history on their own. So now the series is in limbo. Do you pass this off to, say, Pixel Opus and say, continue this here? Or more likely, and honestly, what I really do want is, let's start it over. Let's start it over, because as much as I love Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, the first Sly game, the gameplay for the platforming stuff is great. But it was really Sly 2 Bandit Thieves, one of my favorite video games of all time, where it captured the thieving essence. It captured all the different gameplay mechanics across Bentley, Murray, and Sly. It captured the level design well, the hub-based mission structure well. Everything about that game was awesome in my book, and it still is to this day. I actually just played it for those of you who never checked it out, maybe you should, a Sly Cooper project that I made a decent while ago called The Life and Death of Sly Cooper. And it actually did surprisingly well, which made me happy, because there is a Sly Cooper community out there that is hungry for more. And I would love nothing more than to see more Sly Cooper. But anyway, Sly 2 really is what I think defined that franchise, because 3 was just more of 2, and even 4 was arguably more of 2. So I would love to see a modernized take on effectively Sly 2 by remaking Sly 1. Think of what happened with Destroy All Humans Remake, where they took gameplay mechanics that were introduced in Destroy All Humans 2 and brought them into the first one in the remake. That just made sense for the series. Like, maybe they make it a only Sly Cooper game, but they introduce ThiefNet, where you can get a lot of upgrades through there, instead of making it where at the end of each level in Thievius Raccoonus, you'd find in a safe, if you collected all of the clue bottles, you'd find a power-up in there. Making these power-ups, I'll be honest, more useful would also be cool. Turning this game into, like, Thief, you know, where you're crawling through the shadows. I mean, it's one of those things I loved about Thief, I loved about Dishonored, is the interaction with the environments, everything you could take and sell and collect, and all the upgrades you could buy. I think that's one of the main reasons why I love those series so much, is Sly Cooper, for me and my generation, gave birth to those types of mechanics. I adored it so much to the point where like I was playing to get a type of Sly Cooper fix just about, I think 5 months ago. Thief Simulator. Thief Simulator was awesome because I just got to break into houses, steal stuff, sell them, and collect upgrades. And that's to me like a really satisfying gameplay loop. I don't know why. Maybe I'm like a thief at heart. I don't know. But I just really do hope they take the remake route. Remaking the first one, like PlayStation's had a good history with remakes for many years now. Rebooting the first entry in the series and taking it in an interesting direction. Because one of the things that I am a bit skeptical about is when you do reboot it, Sly Cooper gets a lot of credit for its gameplay, its characters, its charisma. Its writing never gets its roses. And this breaks my heart because it's one of the best written video game series I've played. Just because it's not like Divinity Original Sin 2 where it's using eloquent words and a vocabulary that you've probably never heard of before, doesn't make it bad writing, because it's effective character building and there's a lot of nuance to its storytelling. You know, there's the face of death in this storyline. There's Sly Cooper overcoming all the odds stacked against him, really being one of the last of his bloodline. It's why I thought Thieves in Time from Sanzaru was so great. There's just a lot there that I think not a lot of people give credit to. And if they are to reboot this, I'm hoping that that charm isn't lost. But I will be the biggest critic of that, believe it or not. So anyway, that's effectively a roundup of the rumors, what's going on with them, how I'm feeling about it. I know a lot of you wanted me to make this type of video. I was happy to oblige. I just had to wait for the right time as we've been very busy with reviews and news coverage. So thank you so much for your patience. I know it's coming a little bit late, but it also, with these rumors, gave some time for them to settle down, to get updates on them. So I don't want to say I'm pumped because it's not real, but I'm feeling hopeful. I can't emphasize enough. Like, if anyone needs a little perspective check from me, like how much I love Sly Cooper, there's KOTOR, there's Fallout, there's Sly. Like, that is my totem pole. So for those who don't know, like, yes, absolutely. And then there's Persona. Like, it's in that company. And I don't talk about it a lot because, I mean, the reality is, like, you know, I love many games beyond what's on my channel here. I play more JRPGs than many genres, but my channel's not really tailored to that stuff. Just like I've talked about Sly Cooper a ton on this channel, but as of recently, like, we do a lot of Xbox stuff here, so Sly doesn't come up in the conversations. But trust me, when there is official Sly material, when there's more rumors, your boy's on top of it. Because this channel is driven by one thing, really, and it's passion. Because we all share that. And there are things that I love that I want to share with the world, and hopefully people share it in return. So for me, in my mind right now, like, I'm making this video expecting a flop. Like, I'm just expecting this video to not do well. It's Sly Cooper. It's a dead series. Who's searching it up? There's very minimal rumors on it. And overall, we have a lot of Xbox fans in the audience. So who cares, right? Well, I do. And I'm really excited about this. So thank you to those who tuned in, who watched this deep, and gave this video a shot. I appreciate you. And here's hoping, according to this rumor, in the second half of 2022, we will be gathering again to react to the reveal of Sly Cooper. So, ladies and gentlemen, take great care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.